Hello, hello, hello. This is Evan Rogers coming at you with more JLPT N5 practice. We're going to be doing the grammar section today. I got a PDF off of this website, www.jlpt.jp. Woo! It must be the Japanese version of the website. Okay, last time oh, you can click English here. And then it takes 9 hours to do stuff. Anyway. Last time I did it, I accidentally had the screen a little bit too zoomed out, and it was hard to read. I learned from my mistake, and I will have it more zoomed up. I turned it into a PDF, so I'm not doing it up. Oh my god, that's gigantic. So I'm not doing it directly off the website. I saved the PDF onto my screen. Or onto my computer would make more sense, because that's where it actually went. Herderp. Alright, and going with this, I would like to teach you guys some grammar. I will occasionally go to this screen so I can teach you guys some, or, actually design the grammar, draw it out for you, and sort of walk you through it, okay? So hopefully that won't trip you too much, and you won't be like, whoa, I'm tripping. Hopefully that won't surprise you too much, and you won't be like, whoa, that was trippy, I'm crazy not knowing what's going on when I do it. Alright, number 6, we have Yamashita is apparently saying this. 今日パーティーがありますから田中さん blank 来てください. Tanaka, ありがとうございます. Okay, so let's just start off with the ending first, because I'm lazy. ありがとうございます. If you haven't learned this already, hopefully you do know what it is. It's saying thank you. Okay, now we'll see what Yamashita says. So for some reason, Tanaka is saying thank you to Yamashita. Let's see what Yamashita says. Well, in the very ending, it says, Tanaka-san blank kite kudasai. When you have the te form plus kudasai, it's an invitation to do whatever the verb is. Kimas here, kite, is the te form for kimas, which is to come to a location, to come to something. It looks like it starts off with Tanaka-san blank, and all of our choices are particles, so what's most likely being said is Tanaka won't please come, or something like that. Before this, it says kyo, which is today, party, which is a party, disco party, arimasu, well, ga is also there, ga arimasu, kara. So we have kyo party ga arimasu kara. Let's go through what this means. Okay, so we have kara here, followed by a comma, which basically means, and it comes right after a verb. The kara is coming right after a verb, which tells us that it's most likely because. So because something exists, which is what arimasu means, because something exists, Tanaka-san, please come. Oh, great, awesome, thank you very much. Now the question is, what exists? Here we have a ga particle. When you have the arimasu verb, look for the ga particle. That tells you what does exist. And what does exist is the party. The ga particle is the subject marker, and apparently party, a party, a disco party, is what exists. Whoa, is what exists. Sorry, I'm not used to my PDF, and it's making things randomly blue. So party ga arimasu. Kara, there's a party. Tanaka-san, please come. Kyo. When is the party? It's today. Because there's a party today, won't you come? That's what it says. Then Tanaka says, thank you very much. Enough of the long-winded explanations. If we say ni, this does not work. Tanaka-san ni kite kudasai would be almost please come to Tanaka. Ni, in almost always, not always, but generally in with the verb kimas, translates to come to wherever the ni is. So if you have Tanaka-san ni kimas, it would be come to Tanaka. Here we have the mo particle. If we use the mo particle, it says also or as well as. So Tanaka-san as well, please come. Which, that sounds pretty good. Please come as well, Tanaka. You should also come, Tanaka. The ya particle. This basically functions as the word and. It's very similar to the to particle. However, it translates to and things like. Things of this nature. When making a list. Tanaka and things like you. Can you please come? Just not quite a sentence that makes sense. De here could be used either as a te form or as the de particle, which means by means of. By means of Tanaka, please come. So I don't know, you're going to hop on Tanaka and spank him on the booty until he runs you over to the party. and you're telling that to Tanaka. So that would be insane and not even justifiably like some sort of college prank. So no, that doesn't quite work. If it was the like the te form of des, it'd be, being Tanaka, please come. That makes sense, but would you really want to ask somebody, well, you know, you're Tanaka, so please come on over to the party? That's kind of a weird thing to say to somebody. The best answer is mo. Tanaka, also please come. Won't you please come as well, Tanaka, is a good translation of that one. Won't you please come as well, Tanaka? Number 6, to mo. 今日パーティーがありますから、田中さんも来てください。あ、ありがとうございます。Beautiful. Number 7, with Mr. Tanaka and Mr. Yamada. I taught a guy named Yamada. He liked dumb jokes a lot, and that was pretty fun. Tanaka says, "Oh, it's blue now," says to Yamada, "Kono boshi wa Yamada-san blank desu ka?" And then Yamada-san says, "Hai!" Because he's a samurai, and he's also drunk or something. Okay. Let's translate this. Yamada-san's answer is yes. So if you somehow translate this as something other than a yes-no question, you have done it incorrectly. Let's look at this. Ka. It's a question. The ka particle at the end of a sentence. It's a question. Desu ka. Is it? Is something? Is it? The closest thing that we can find to a subject is boshi wa. Oops, so it's blue again. We have boshi wa. The wa particle is generally the topic form, but it's introducing a new thing. I like to translate it, and this is so not something that I should say right now because of all the political firestorm around him or whatever it is, but it's kind of like when the stereotypical Bill Cosby talking. Boshi wa! And boshi means hat, by the way, so regarding this hat, if you kind of talk like crazy Bill Cosby before all the rape allegations, that's kind of what he's talking about. That's kind of what this means. Boshi wa, regarding the hat. Which hat are we talking about? We're talking about kono boshi, this hat. This is the word this. But Evan, what about kore? Doesn't kore mean this? Yes, this is a problem with English. Japanese totally gets this right. English is kind of stupid here. Let's flip over to my Google Doc. The word this in English can mean, well, I mean, for lack of a better word, this thing. Or it can translate to this, it's a noun. This thing as in, or this noun. We should write, or it can translate to this noun. What do I mean by this? I can say some. What do I mean by this? I'm hilarious. Okay. What do I mean by this? I mean, let's say I want to eat this. This sentence is a complete sentence and makes sense. The subject is I, the verb is want, the infinitive is to eat, and then the word is this. This is the word this is the thing that I want to eat. It is the object of the sentence. However, we could do something exciting like writing the sentence, I want to eat this burrito, because burritos are awesome. You're a terrorist if you think otherwise. Okay, notice how now the subject is still I. This verb is... Oops, I just moved that weirdly. Whoop. Okay. The new verb, or the same verb is want. We solve the infinitive to eat. And then we have the word this. Is this the subject of the the subject. Is this the object of the sentence? No, this is a modifier. The word this in sentence... the word this in sentence number 2 is an adjective of some sort. It's actually a determiner. It's telling us which burrito. The thing that I actually want to eat is a burrito, and I'm specifying which burrito I'm talking about. I'm talking about this burrito. Okay? So in this one, this equals a noun. Oops, a noun. It's actually kind of a pronoun. And in sentence number 2, we're talking about, maybe I can make this bigger because maybe I'm doing the same mistake. Yeah, let's do that. And then in number 2, the word this is equals, it's actually called a determiner. But for those of you who are lazy, it's an adjective, secretly. Well, it's secretly a determiner, but it's easier to call it an adjective. And let's make sure that we know what the objects are. The direct object of this sentence equals burrito. the direct object of this sentence, do equals this. Okay? This sentence number 1 is kore. Sentence number 2 is kono. We need to have a noun after kono, whereas kore here is a noun. Okay? That's the difference between kore and kono. Kono almost always has a noun after it. Kore is a noun. Word, dog. Hopefully that clarified some issues that you may or may not be having about words. Sorry, and let me just say really quickly, this works for things like sore, are, and dore. And this functions for the same thing as the sono, ano, dono. So anything that looks like, these are the ko-so-do pairs. I haven't made a video about this yet, but this would be a great thing to write, to make a video about, the ko-so-do pairs. Kore, sore, are, dore are all nouns. One is an interrogative noun. And then these are, interrogative means question related. Kono, sono, ano, dono are all adjectives-esque things. This is an interrogative adjective thing. Alright, hopefully that clarifies some issues you may or may not have had about kore versus kono. Okay? Back to the PDF. We have kono boshi. So this hat, regarding this hat, is what the wa particle does to that. Regarding this hat, Yamada-san blank desu ka? And then Yamada-san is the name of the guy. Desu ka means is it? So without a particle, if we just sort of, if we ignore this blank, just imagine that blue box doesn't appear and it says Yamada-san desu ka, it would say, this sentence would literally be, this hat, is it Mr. Yamada? Hey, is this hat Mr. Yamada? People would think you're insane. We need a particle here to specify that we're probably trying to say, is it Mr. Yamada's, showing ownership. Is it Mr. Yamada's hat? Hey, this hat, is it Mr. Yamada's? Is what we're most likely trying to say here. The ya particle, we already talked about it, means and things like. Is it things like? Is this hat things like Mr. Yamada? It doesn't work. It does. I mean, it could sort of kind of work, but really it doesn't work in Japanese. In English it sounds fine. In Japanese it sounds horrible. The wa particle. We can have more than one wa in a sentence. This is an example where that is impossible. This does not work. Regarding this hat, regarding Mr. Yamada, is it? That sentence doesn't work at all. It communicates no information worth anything to a human. The no particle. This shows ownership. Kono boshi wa Yamada-san no desu ka? Is it Mr. Yamada's? Regarding this hat? Regarding this hat, is it Mr. Yamada's? It works perfectly. This fits beautifully, and the no particle can work like that. Yamada-san no is by itself Mr. Yamada's. It works perfectly. The ka particle is either question, interrogative, like we have in the end of the sentence here, or it's the word or. Yamada-san or desu ka? Is this hat or Mr. Yamada's? Doesn't work. Just boo boo. Number 7. Sorry, I had to do that. Number 7 is 3. Kono boshi wa Yamada-san no desu ka? Hai. Great. Number 8. Eki made taxi de 1000 yen blank desu. This is not a question. There's no ka at the end. Really quickly, eki, train station, made, up until. Oops, let me try to get that better highlighted. Made means up until, to a location, up to a point. Taxi is a taxi. De, by means of. Whoa, blue. Sen, isen, sen, 1000 should. That's 1000 is pronounced isen or sen, so just sen by itself. En, unit of measurement of money. They use en in Japanese. We call it yen in English. A long time ago, there used to be a ye sound in Japanese. It does not exist anymore. And the verb at the end is des. So, what we're going to be trying to be saying is, up until this train station, going by taxi, which is sort of left off. The actual verb is. By means of taxi. By means of taxi to the train station is a good translation for here. By means of taxi to the train station, sen en des. It is 1000 yen. Look at our particles. We have gurai, nado, goro, and mo. These are some tricky particles that you might not be totally familiar with. These are all dealing with extent, the extent of something. Gurai is used for the extent of like length, like imagine a continuum. There's a point here, and then it goes all the way over here. If we have this box right here, this box is about, I don't know, it depends on your screen size. This box is about 5 inches, whatever the heck your screen shows you, or it's about 1 foot long. Gurai is used to show a continuum, a distance. Nado doesn't really have much to do with continuums or things like that. Nado is kind of like and things like, and the sort. It's another thing kind of like ya. You find it very frequently with the ya particle. It doesn't fit with the sentence at all, just nope. Goro means, it's kind of like we look at this bar and we say the end is kono goro. It's about at this location. It's about at here. Mo means all of, like all-encompassingly. It takes all of that much. Oh my gosh, this is all the way up to a certain point. This is, oh my gosh, is kind of the feeling we get with that one. So if we used mo here, it'd be like, oh, it's even 1,000 yen. It's so expensive. That could work, but it doesn't work grammatically in this sense. The correct answer here is gurai. I'm just going to tell you what the correct answer is, ignore the rest, and explain why gurai is the correct answer. Gurai works here because up until the train station using a taxi, it's about the length of 1,000 yen. We're talking about 1,000 yen, and we're going up to, counting from zero, we're going to go 1 yen, 2 yen, 3 yen, 4 yen, 5 yen, 600 yen, 700 yen, 800, 900, about the length of 1,000 yen is the image that should appear in your head when you see gurai. And it works here. So it's about 1,000 yen. Unfortunately, some of you might have been thinking that goro is the perfect answer because it's kind of like a point. However, goro is used more for... It's not used with money as much as gurai is used with money. Goro is used very frequently with times, like it's about 10:30, or it's about something to that effect. The time of 10:30, it is about that time location. It is about that point in time of 10:30. Whereas gurai is much more, it'll take about 3 hours. So goro would be used more along the lines of, it is about 3 o'clock, i.e. a point in time. It is about that point in time. Whereas gurai is, it will take about 3 hours. That's a length of time. 3 hours is what it'll take. Notice how gurai is used for lengths, goro is used for points. Hopefully that will help you here. Gurai is the correct answer because we're measuring a certain amount of money from zero. It's going to take from zero about 1,000 yen. If that didn't work for you, if that explanation didn't work for you as well as to your satisfaction and you're going to argue with me that it's goro, unfortunately that just means you don't have a feel for the difference yet. I'll try to make more videos about this, but I'm only one man working against the world. 9. Sayonara, sayonara, mata blank. Sayonara is just saying goodbye, so A is leaving B, or B is leaving A. Who knows who's leaving who. Mata means again. Ooh. And then we have a blank. All of our answers are time frames. Mata ototoi. Mata kyo. Whoa. Mata raishu. Mata kongetsu. Ototoi, the day before yesterday. Kyo, today. Raishu, next week. Kongetsu, this week. What they're trying to communicate here is I'll see you again blank. First off, if we're going to see somebody again, it's got to be a future word. Ototoi is wrong because it's not the future. Kongetsu is currently, notice the word, the kon in here. Woo! Notice the kon that's in here. That means this month. Kongetsu. Hey, I'll see you again this month. It's just not really a thing somebody wants to communicate. It's such a vague statement. I'll see you again today. That would work, but much more in English it makes sense. Kongetsu in English it makes sense. But think about what you're trying to say. I'm going to see you again. what you're actually trying to say is, I will see you again in the future, and you will tell the person about what time that thing will be in the future. Thus, raishu is a much better answer than all the rest. Ototoi doesn't make sense unless you're a time-traveling maniac. Kyo doesn't make sense because, like, if it said mata sanji, like, I'll see you again at 3 o'clock, it would be kind of a weird thing to say, but that would work. Or if you said mata konya, I'll see you again tonight, konya nara would be a good answer. But this is kyo mata kongetsu, hey, I'll see you again this month. Well, why not just say I'll see you again next week? Raishu is just the much better answer out of this grouping. Mata raishu, I'll see you again next week. 9, 3, raishu. Sayonara, sayonara, mata raishu. Number 10. Watashi no haha, my mother. Hey. Watashi no haha wa, regarding my mother, 50 歳, 50 years old. Des. Watashi no haha wa 50 歳です. My mother's 50 years old. Chichi wa, regarding my father, chichi wa. Notice how we're using a wa particle here. I want to emphasize that. Haha itself is used for one's own family really quickly. Chichi by itself is regarding one's own family generally. You almost never would refer to somebody else's mother or father as haha or chichi. So this watashi no is a little bit redundant. Haha wa 50 歳です. No, I want to talk about the wa particle. Sorry. This wa particle is here because it's contrasting the two. Regarding my mother, she's 50. Woo! Regarding my father, see how we're contrasting haha and chichi? This is one of the functions of the wa particle, contrasting, making sure that we know what exactly we're talking about. Haha wa 50 歳です. Chichi wa 55 歳です. Father is 55. Okay, so haha wa chichi blank 5 歳 wakai desu. Regarding my mother, we're talking about my mother, not my father right now. We're talking about my mother. Chichi blank 5 歳 wakai desu. 5 歳 is 5 years of age. Wakai is young, youthful, and des is. My mother is 5 years young, and this is going to be a comparison blank. I haven't even looked at the options yet because I'm lazy. It's got to be a comparison. Chichi blank 5 歳です. What we're definitely trying to say is my mother is 5 years old, younger than my father. Number 1, from, kara. From my father 5 years young. I mean, if you're not familiar enough with the sentence, it feels like it might work. But you can tell from my lazy feeling that it's not the correct answer. Mare, up until a point. So regarding my mother, up until my father, 5 years young. Just, it doesn't make sense. Yori literally means blank than, more than. So more than my father, 5 years young is. Bing, 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 bing. Looks like we have a winner, but just for the sakes of checking out, this has the feeling of comparing and more than or less than or something to that effect. Chichi yori 5 歳 wakai desu is the correct answer. Let's look at nohoga. Nohoga is used for blank nohoga wakai desu. The reason why this one doesn't work is because we're talking about the mother. My mother, regarding my mother, my father is 5 years younger. Which is incorrect, because notice this ga, chichi no ho ga, chichi no ho, the path of my father, is the subject. So what if we use no ho ga, this is actually saying the opposite information that we want to say. This is just regarding my mother, my father is 5 years younger. It's actually the opposite of what we want to communicate, because this ga shows us the subject of what we're talking about. The subject is going to be literally ho, which is path or street or direction or choice of. Which choice? The choice of, oh my gosh, I hate this thing. The choice of my father. Chichi, I wish I could select those all together. Ignore haha. So chichi no ho ga. My father's choice is what we're talking about. 5 years young. 5 years younger. It doesn't work. It's the opposite of what we want to communicate because the father is 5 years older. Chichi yori 5 歳 wakai desu. Correct answer. Yori. 10, 3, yori. 私の母は50歳です。父は55歳です。母は父より5歳若いです。Bing, bing, 11. 子供も Oh, so here I can't read. I'm used to saying the kanji after ko. Sorry. Kodomo is saying itadakimasu, and then the mother haha is saying taberu blank te o araimashou. Itadakimasu. If you're not familiar with that, that's what you say before you eat. You sit down, you get your hands together like you're praying, and you go itadakimasu, and maybe you even bow. Araimashou, the verb in the next sentence. Araimashou. Let's wash. We should wash. Let's wash. What are we going to wash? We have the O particle. Tells us what we're going to wash. Te o araimashou. Wash our hands. The mother says, which is not really a word. It's just sort of like, wait, get. Just sort of some sort of stuttering to get the attention of somebody. Taberu is the plain form of tabemasu. It's used here. Notice how we have mas and masho. It's kind of, she's clearly just being nice and friendly to the kid. Taberu is in the plain form because it's not the sentence ending the sentence ending verb. Excuse me. It's not the sentence ending verb, so it will be in the plain form very frequently, the dictionary form. So taberu blank te oraimashou. Most likely what they're trying to say is, I'm gonna eat before we eat. The blank is going to be trying to communicate before we eat. Te o araimashou. If you can't see why it's most likely before we eat, it's because you want to wash your hands before you eat. Otherwise, it's, not quite logical. You might get germs in your food. And also, another reason why it's before we eat is because the kid hasn't started eating yet. He just got done saying itadakimasu. So, almost definitely we're talking about before we eat. Okay, we have no ato ni or no mae ni or mae ni. Ato means after. So 3 and 4 are right out. Notice the pattern though. We have mae and ato. So mae ni, ato ni. Then we also have no mae ni, no ato ni. This question is testing you on whether or not you know mae means before and that ato means later. So it's testing you to make sure you don't confuse that. But it's also testing you on how do we use a verb to modify a noun. So the word mae is a noun, and we're trying to modify it with a verb. When we're using a verb to modify a noun, do we put a no before it, or do we just have nothing before it? Answer it for yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bing! We do not use a no to modify a noun with a verb. We just throw the verb in front of the noun. The correct answer is number 1, mae ni. Itadakimasu. Taberu mae ni te o araimashou. Before nouns like mae and ato, we modify them with just the verb. We use the no to modify a noun with a noun. So if taberu were a noun, no would be the correct answer. Taberu is a verb. Without a no is the correct answer. Number 1, mae ni. Once again, the reason why taberu is in plain form is because it's a verb modifying a noun, thus we use the plain form. Almost exclusively do we use the plain form here. It would be a very insane or a very ridiculous situation that you most likely would never find yourself partaking in, to be using tabemasu mae ni, and it just sounds wrong. So because this is mid-sentence, we're using taberu, and it's not because it's mid-sentence. Because it's modifying a noun, it's exclusively a noun. It's exclusively the plain form. I can't speak. Because it's modifying a noun, it's exclusively in the plain form. Number 12. This will be the last one of this video. 12a says, Tokyo demo yuki ga furimasu ka? B replies with, furimasu yo. Demo kyonen amari blank. This is just a basic verb conjugation. So we're talking about Tokyo. Tokyo demo. This demo and modifies Tokyo by saying even at the location of. De shows us the location of an action. The action is furimasu, falling weather, falling precipitation. So let's look really quickly at yuki ga furimasu. Yuki ga furimasu. Snow falls. Snow precipitates. It's a question. Does snow precipitate? Basically, does it snow? In English, we just say, does it snow? In Japanese, you're literally saying, does snow precipitate? Ame could be used here, but we're talking about snow, not rain. So now let's look at Tokyo. Tokyo demo. The action location would be Tokyo. That's why we're using a de there. Tokyo de. Because Yuki is falling and it's an action. Yuki falls at Tokyo, in Tokyo. We use de, not ni. Then mo. This translates to even. Even in Tokyo. Even in Tokyo. Does snow fall? The answer is which is a way of saying yes. Furimasu yo. Yes, it does fall. Demo. This demo is actually like a separate word, but it's used very frequently after a period. Demo. Kyonen. Last year. Kyonen. Kyonen wa. I'm talking about last year. Last year specifically I'm talking about. But last year. Once again, this sort of a Bill Cosby thing. But last year. Amari, this is showing an extent that is not so much. An extent that is not so much. So we're looking for a negative verb. He's probably saying did not snow. Furimasen deshita literally means did, past tense did not fall. Bing, 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 bing. We have our answer number 1. Number 2 is furimasen will not fall or does not fall. This one does not make sense because we're talking specifically about the past. If we were talking about in general, furimasen would work. Furimashita means did fall, which surprisingly could work with amari. Amari does sometimes get used with positives, but at this basic level, it's used almost exclusively with negatives. Also, the reason why it's not furimashita is because the previous sentence was, hey, does it even snow in Tokyo? And then he says, yeah, it does, but we need to be emphasizing because we have the word but there, we're emphasizing the fact that it's not snowing a lot. So furimashita. Kyonen is past tense, we get furimashita. 4. Furimas doesn't work because it's positive. It does snow. Oh, it's positive, and B, it's the future / habitual. Our correct answer is furimasen deshita. It did not snow very much last year. But last year it didn't snow very much. Yes, it does snow, but last year it doesn't snow very much. All right. I hope you enjoyed learning about the JLPT N5 test. Once again, all of these documents are online, so I hope nobody gets mad at me for going over them online in a YouTube video because, hey, if you put it online, it's your own fault for me using it. Which brings me to my next point. If you have something that you'd like me to go through and insanely detailedly explain the grammar to you, please put some links in the YouTube comments. I'd love to find some resources for you guys to study, or for you guys to have help with. That being said, I'd appreciate it if you like this video, if you subscribe, and if you make some exciting comments about how awesome this website or this YouTube channel is. Woo! And also check out www.evanseasyjapanese.com because it has other things that you can work with, like grammar lessons. It also has Skyrim translations and other fun translation stuff on there. I was thinking recently of doing the occasional NHK Easy News and going through those, but I'm not sure how profitable that would be. If there's an article on the NHK Easy News site that you know of, I'd be more than happy to detailedly go through it and translate it for you. Or, for your benefit. Not for you. Sorry, I don't mean to call you a sucker. And the last thing I want to say is it would be awesome if you consider donating just a few bucks to me. That lets me know that this is worth it, and it helps me pay the bills. These videos do take time and money. Thank you very much. Have yourself a holly jolly whatever day it is for you when you're watching this. Peace out, Dizzle, which is apparently the word for dog, I've decided. Goodbye.